The following program is brought to you by Naleo TV, the People's Platform.
Aloha, e komo mai. Welcome to Island Storybook. I'm Christine Reed, but you can call me Auntie Christine. And like my name, I love to read. And I love to read aloud and share my favorite stories. Reading aloud is so important. Grandparents, parents, aunties, uncles, older siblings can read to the youngsters. But new readers can read to their family, and they could even read to their pets, because Kit Kat and Doggo love to hear the sound of your voice. So join me while I read you one of my favorite books. This one is called The Little Red Hen. This is an old story, but this one is Hawaiian style. The Little Red Hen, Hawaiian style, by Jennifer Morgan. Once upon a time, on an island in Hawaii, there was a little red hen who lived on a farm. And on this farm lived her closest friends, Popoki, a sleepy cat, Elio, a mischievous dog, and Pua'a, a messy little pig. On a day like any other, the little red hen went out for her morning walk. As she made her way through the farmlands, she came across a fruit vendor who had choke ulu for sale, and boy, was it cheap. It's not every day you find a score like that. So the little red hen decided she would buy all of them. And that's when she had her idea. This is the perfect opportunity to make an emu. The first step, digging a hole. How's it, Elio? Will you help me with my emu? Cannot, sorry. Since building an emu is hard work, the little red hen decided to reach out to her friends to see if they would be willing to help. How's it, Elio? Will you help me with my emu? Cannot, sorry. Hey, Popoki, will you help me dig a hole for an emu? Sorry, nope, not today. Aloha, Pua'a. Will you help me dig a hole for my emu? No can, sorry. No worries, said the little red hen, and she began digging the hole alone. The next step was to gather lava rocks, which would serve as the heat source for her emu. Another laborious task. She thought surely some of her friends would help her with this. So again, the little red hen decided to reach out to her friends. And again, they all said no. Nope, cannot, no can. No worries, said the little red hen. And she set off to collect lava rocks alone. Once enough lava rocks had been collected, the little red hen needed to gather banana leaves and stumps, which would be crucial for holding moisture in her emu. She had been working so hard all day and was becoming increasingly tired. She could use the help. So, despite being rejected twice before, the little red hen decided to ask her friends for help. Nope, cannot, no can. Who's willing to help me collect banana leaves for my emu? Nope, cannot, no can. No worries, sighed the little red hen. Without hesitation, she put the lava rocks in the hole and made sure they were hot. Next, she added the banana stumps and leaves and made sure they were moist. Then, she put the ulu on top, made sure they were seasoned, and covered them with more leaves. When the little red hen finally had all the pieces of her imu in place, she took a deep breath and started to bury it. At this point, she didn't even bother asking her friends for help. And then she waited. By the next afternoon, the little red hen knew her ulu was pau, and she couldn't wait to open up her imu. She could just picture them roasting in their juices all night and making the most ono feast. Every time she removed some mud, a little more of the delicious smoke came out. The aroma was so strong, it started to attract the others. The frustrated little hen looked around at all of her friends who were conveniently too busy to help her the day before. "No! None of you can have any!" clucked the angry red hen. "No one helped me dig the hole. No one helped me collect lava rocks. No one helped me cut banana leaves. No one can have any. No, no, no!" After her outburst, the little red hen looked over at her hungry friends and started to feel bad. Even though she was angry, she knew what she was doing wasn't right. In Hawaii, she knew you must live with aloha. You must always be kind and share. You should give without expectation. So she decided to share the fruits of her labor with her friends. And to the little red hen's surprise, they also had things they wanted to share. Each one had been hard at work the day before gathering food. The sleepy cat was out catching fish. The mischievous dog was out collecting ripe mangoes. The messy pig was harvesting kalo to make poi, all the little red hen's favorites. Since everyone had worked so hard, they were able to have a huge potluck. They all ate and ate and ate until nothing was left. The little red hen was so happy. She was able to share the bounty of her hard work and, more importantly, share a great afternoon with her friends. Her heart and her belly were full. The end. What a great story this is. It's an old story, but it's told in a little bit different way. Because in Hawaii, we like to share all of the food that our friends' families prepare, and sometimes they're all different. So the things that we can look at in this book that give us hints about what's coming up are, we can see here is the market where she bought her ulu. Here is the Elio starting to collect the mangoes. And here is Popoki fishing for food for the luau. And here's Pua'a rolling around in the dirt, but if you look really close, you can see the kalo growing behind him. The little red hen works really hard, but we can see Popoki has a fish net here, and Elio has more mangoes. Pua'a likes being in the mud. She tells us how an imu is made, which is the way the Hawaiians cooked their food, in a hole in the ground with hot stones and using the banana leaves for moisture to steam the food. So we learn a lot of different things in this story about how the food was cooked, and also mostly about friendship and the fact that misunderstandings can happen, but in the end, we all come together, and if we're kind and we're generous, everyone can share and everyone can enjoy each other's company and all the food. And like the little red hen, our hearts and our bellies can be full. Reading is important because it opens our minds to new worlds, new people, new ideas. We can learn about other people's lives, the foods they like to eat, the places that they live, and it expands our world and therefore expands our minds. So reading has always been very important to me. My mother brought us to the library when we were very young, and I always had stacks of books that I carried around with me. And I got to lose myself in new worlds and meet new people through the pages of the book. So I think it's so important for people to gain an understanding of someone else and somebody else's life. It can be a fantasy, it can be history. You can learn about important things, or you can just have an escape into a fantasy world. There's so many places that books can take you, and I hope that books will be a part of your journey as you go through life. So one of my favorite places to go is the library. We have a wonderful library system in Hawaii where we can get books from libraries all over the state. There's a library at school, there's a library at the university, and hopefully there's a library in your community. There's bookstores where you can buy books to take home with you, or you can share with your friends. One of the best things to do with a book is to share it. And they say, a book is a gift you can open again and again. Mahalo for joining us on this episode of Island Storybook. I'm Christine Reed at Basically Books, and I encourage you to get out, grab a book, and read.
Special mahalo to Basically Books for supporting literacy here on Hawaii Island. Naleo TV wants to encourage reading and writing in an ever-changing digital world. Reading is a fundamental skill that opens up a world of knowledge, imagination, and personal growth. Mahalo for tuning in to this episode of Island Storybook. Check out our website, naleo.tv, for more videos on demand and get ready for the next story we find.